Please join me in welcoming SCAD President and Founder, Paula, Wallace.
Good evening and welcome to the 2017 SCAD Commencement Ceremony. I'd like to recognize and thank the esteemed SCAD faculty. I love those guys, don't you? Yes. Who daily illuminate subjects and professions with their diligence, intellect, and most importantly, heart. Would our faculty please rise and be recognized? Of course, we all know that the path to SCAD and to commencement is lit by the love and encouragement of parents, spouses, partners, and siblings of our graduates. Would families and friends of the SCAD class of 2017 please stand? And to the graduating students here today, thank you for contributing your infinite gifts to SCAD. We really, really are so proud of each and every one of you. Your ambition, your ingenuity, and your ideas, every flash of light of your brilliant minds. You know, while commonly commencement is viewed as the beginning of a career, that's really light years from the truth at SCAD, because you began your careers the moment you entered SCAD. In your years at SCAD, you presented your ideas to executives at Adult Swim, Mercedes-Benz, the Harlem Globetrotters, and Berkshire Hathaway. You also earned championships in cross-country, golf, and tennis. You've already landed top jobs at Atlanta's own CNN and Spanx and earned top honors from Red Dot, the Council of Fashion Designers of America, International Design Awards, Photo District News, and the YMA Fashion Scholarship Fund. And all of this you have already achieved at SCAD. Amazing. Amazing. The great honor of my life is sharing these defining moments with you, these light bulb moments, if you will. I well recall trying on shoes with several of you docents at SCAD Fash. And back in the fall, when you so willingly, so lovingly welcomed our SCAD Savannah peers. You helped create Camp SCAD when Hurricane Matthew hit our coastal campus. SCAD bees are known to rise above, and you showed what it truly means to be a bee. I've been privileged to share in your acclaim at Open Studio Night, Atlanta's hottest spot for contemporary art, right? Yeah, sit alongside you in master classes with Warren Beatty and Sherry Shepard during ATV Fest, or be enraptured by the conversations and presentations of Derek Blasberg and David LaChapelle, and see your senior collections slay in the vignettes of SCAD Fash Weekend, right? Yes. I've been here with you every step, and I can say with absolute certainty, all of you are career ready. And your readiness will only brighten. Just look to our 98% employment rate as a beacon. Throughout the year, SCAD's Office of Career and Alumni Success hears from top employers all over the globe looking for SCAD talent, looking for bees on the rise. Just ask the elite cadre of alumni you're about to join. Those who are already working at Disney and Pixar and Anthropology and Under Armour, Gensler and Perkins and Will. The list goes on and on. It's a SCAD world out there. So in a year, 5 years, 10 years, when you're looking for a new job in a new city or you're ready for that next promotion, just text us, right? Check in with Cass. Call me. Text me. So bees and light. You know, I have a beekeeping secret for you. Bees can see beyond the spectrum of light visible to others. This unique ability leads them to the brightest flowers with the sweetest nectar. The same is true of you. Your vision, your ingenuity, your pursuit of the very best, that's what makes you a SCAD bee. That's what you bring to the world. And once a bee. Thank you.
Please join the SCAD Performance Ensemble in singing the alma mater, Unique, United.
Through all our days, we will remember this community of excellence, which is drawn from the muses and each continent. Unique, united, masterpiece in motion. Whoa. Many
are one, but first to love the heart, the head, and certainly the heart. Now
face to face, unique,
masterpiece in motion.
vision that comes with joys and challenges. Yeah. That's it. Unique. Oh. Someday. Yeah. Oh. A global family. Building for today. Oh. It's unique.
Good evening. I'm Latham Gordon, a SCAD MFA Interior Design alumna, class of 2010. As you bright SCAD minds have already learned in your respective majors, storytelling is essential to the success of any great work. Writer Ursula Le Guin said there have been great societies that did not use the wheel, but there have been no societies that did not tell stories. As skillful creatives, you have invaluable communication tools to impact your world, to lead, and to affect change. Your career is a time to tell the tales of other people, whether it's clients and customers that seek you out, or those you encounter who need a voice when they can't summon their own. That is the gift of creativity. SCAD has equipped all of you artists and designers with tools to impact the world with your narrative power. I'm one of the founders of the interior design firm Gordon Dunning. In our work, we've had the opportunity to complete projects with both global and local impact here in Atlanta. Many of the most rewarding projects are our collaborations with Dwell with Dignity, an organization that designs and installs home interiors for families who need an environment that supports health and wellness. One of the most memorable projects we worked on was designing a space for an amazing woman named Ty and her 2 sons. Ty is a survivor of domestic violence and homelessness. She had lived a life that had disallowed her to dream. We interviewed Ty to discover what she wanted in a home, and she did not know what to ask for other than a softer bed to enjoy those rare hours of sleep between full-time work and full-time school. To more fully realize her story through design, we asked probing questions about where she'd come from, what her travels had been, favorite colors, how she used her space, and how she imagined using her space. In learning about Ty, we could see her story visually coming to life. We made plans to reupholster 2 of her beloved family chairs, to create dining and living spaces where her family could all share their evenings together, no longer eating in shifts. And yes, to include a soft and fluffy bed. Through this process, we truly discovered the privilege of designing to people's narratives. Ty's powerful story and this process with her revealed the intersection of creativity and courage. We knew we wanted to keep telling stories in our work, raising others' voices in the world. As a forever bee, I ask you to stay connected to your fellow storytellers. You are and are seated next to the best creative thinkers in your chosen fields. Creative careers are not for the faint of heart, and we all know that we need the occasional reboot. The comfort, camaraderie, and yes, sometimes just venting, that I'm able to share with my fellow SCAD alums, whether in a simple text message or an awesome SCAD alumni adventure in Lacoste, are essential. Graduates, you are entering a world that needs creative, caring, powerful leaders. You have the honor and the responsibility to tell today's stories through your buildings and movies and fashion designs. You can empower a person's narrative in the furniture you design. You can help give voice to someone's experience in the services you create. Craft those stories carefully. Tell them powerfully and gently. Touch the hearts of your world and change it for the better. You have an amazing opportunity and an awesome responsibility. Go tell your story, SCAD story, the world story, and tell it well. Thank you. Today, it is also my honor to introduce our outstanding graduates. The salutatorian, valedictorian, and Excelsius laureate were chosen to represent the SCAD Atlanta class of 2017 because of their academic and creative achievements, their tenacity and determination to excel, and their special contributions to the university and to their communities. While every SCAD graduate has a unique story, these 3 honorees, earning degrees in illustration, graphic design, and film and television, respectively, embody the very soul of SCAD. We now recognize the 2017 salutatorian, Lydia Hancock, who delivered illuminating remarks at a lunch yesterday attended by SCAD professors and the families of our outstanding graduates. Here to help present the award is SCAD fashion student, docent at SCAD Fash, and 2017 Miss Atlanta, Paula Smith. Lydia, in recognition of your exceptional achievements, we congratulate you on being named salutatorian of the SCAD Atlanta class of 2017.
Good evening. My name is Albie Whitaker, and I'm chair of the SCAD Board of Trustees. At this time, we recognize the valedictorian of the SCAD Atlanta class of 2017, Tanner Ergen. In recognition of your exceptional achievements, we congratulate you on being named Valedictorian of the SCAD Atlanta class of 2017.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Tanner Ergen, SCAD Valedictorian and BFA graduate in graphic design. In my first intro to graphic design class at SCAD, my classmates and I were given an open-ended assignment by Professor Lisa Babb to make a 5x5-inch box that had to represent ourself. We could use any material we wanted, the only restriction was the size. The first concepts I presented to Professor Babb, like using silhouettes of people or the pages of a diary, were too obvious, she said, too literal. This project needed to tell a story. It needed to be honest. I've long struggled with a dual sense of identity, my Turkish self and my American self, often compartmentalizing who I am between the two. I immigrated to the United States from Turkey with my parents when I was 7 years old, in the middle of 3rd grade. On the first day of class, I remember the kids whispering around me. One of them finally worked up the courage to ask me if I played football, American football, a sport that doesn't exist in Turkey. I wanted to answer honestly, so I said no. I'd never played it before. I can't say that that was the best way to start making friends in school. But during those early challenging years in America, I found myself turning more and more to drawing when I felt isolated. I drew Martians, I drew astronauts and underwater scenes. At age 10, I submitted some of these to a local newspaper contest, and I won. Seeing them published in the newspaper made me feel proud of my artwork for the first time. I'd like to say that as I grew older, I was able to shake that sense of insecurity and hesitancy, but I felt those feelings creep back in at times. I remember walking into some of my first SCAD Foundation Studies classes, drawing 1 and 2, and the intimidation I felt with so much talent surrounding me. I also hadn't felt fully accepted as a gay man, which made it hard to imagine ever living a life where I could openly embrace my true self. But the diversity of my SCAD peers, their stories, the time that we all devoted to our work, those late nights spent sketching still lives, but most importantly, the encouragement that you all gave me. It all created an atmosphere of sharing and camaraderie that helped me be more true to myself. Ultimately, I learned to express myself in ways that felt more genuine. The pride that I felt when my childhood drawings made the newspaper returned when I received honorable mention in the 2012 Beyond the Dot SCAD exhibition, and in next year's competition when I received first place in design. As I studied at SCAD, I also worked as a trainer for Apple. One day they announced that a new store would be opening, their first in Turkey. I, of course, immediately asked to be involved and was whisked off to their headquarters in Cupertino to prepare. Once I arrived in Istanbul, my hometown, I ended up training over 100 new employees in a month. I was able to also surprise my parents, who had since moved back to Turkey and had no idea I was coming. I met and made lifelong friends with a diverse group of people, fellow Turkish natives who had immigrated to countries like England, France, and Australia. We shared our stories together and overcame many challenges as we trained the new Apple employees. There were issues with translations, even a political protest that disrupted our operations. I came back to SCAD from this experience with a newfound confidence and an ability to lean into ambiguity and change, making it even easier to build authentic relationships. Thanks to my time at SCAD and to the friends I've made here, I can spend my career working in graphic design, this constantly evolving field of visual communication where I can explore my fascination with different kinds of media and deliver concepts for clients that communicate with a message of sincerity. I'm excited to share that I'll soon begin my career at MailChimp, in 2 days to be exact. Thank you. It's a company ranked in the top 10 of the Forbes Cloud 100. I stand here today as the result of the strong foundation built from the example of my parents and from my studies at SCAD. I would like to take a moment to thank my mom, Ainur. Mom, from a very young age, your calm and strong demeanor taught me the introspection that makes me the artist I am today. Your personal sacrifices played a huge role in who I have become. I'm sure you remember the late nights spent as a child working on school projects that I procrastinated when you would sit up with me and make a pot of tea and you let me know that I was never alone. Thank you, Mom. Thank you. Remember the 5x5-inch box that I had to design for my intro class? The one that needed to represent my inner self? After coming to Professor Babb with ideas that were too literal, I took a chance and reached further inside myself to represent who I was. An emerging graphic designer who was willing to dig deeper to a somewhat emotionally messy truth. I used thin but sturdy wire to make a hollow cube. In one corner, there was a knotted clump of hemp rope. A mangled, burnt, and frayed wire merges from the rope, diagonally across the cube. From the frayed center, the wire continues upward, expanding and merging with balsa wood to create a scaffolding that represents a sense of rebuilding and my emotional catharsis in accepting who I am. A Turkish American, a gay man. SCAD's diversity and the diversity I've encountered in the world thanks to my time with Apple, these have given me the self-confidence to create with authenticity. You all have had your own journeys at SCAD, your own challenges, and now, like me, you can greet what lies beyond tonight's celebration with your own truth. What does your box look like? What is your concept? And what are your materials? I can't wait to see what we all create. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Hannah Flower, Associate Vice President for Academic Support at SCAD. It is now my great pleasure to recognize Robin Hicks as the Excelsius Laureate of the SCAD Atlanta class of 2017, a title that means she has exceeded even the highest expectations for a graduate student at SCAD.
You see the infinity of your life play out in an instant.
I remember they were dancing, spinning faster, faster.
In recognition of your exceptional achievements, we congratulate you on being named Excelsius Laureate of the SCAD Atlanta class of 2017.
Thank you. Thank you, President Wallace. Good evening. I'm Robin Hicks, SCAD Excelsius Laureate and MFA graduate in film and television. The hero's journey always begins with a call to action. Mine came at a very young age. As a child, I was shy and didn't speak until around the age of 4, a little later than most. The first time I spoke was when I saw The Wizard of Oz, and I answered to the name of Dorothy. Film immediately became my vehicle for self-expression. When I arrived at SCAD, first to earn my undergraduate degree in performing arts, then to pursue my MFA in film and television, I felt like Dorothy seeing the world in Technicolor. I knew that here I could acquire the skills to create what I had dreamed and teach those skills to others. I found something else at SCAD, a story I didn't expect, that I will share with you now. Once upon a time, a boy met a girl as freshmen at SCAD in Savannah. They fell in love and were married. They spent time in New York City and then moved back to Georgia. They collaborated to write and direct a short film that found success on the festival circuit. All was well until one day, the ordinary world, as writer and mythologist Joseph Campbell calls it, disappeared. The boy, my husband, was diagnosed with cancer, and our lives were forever changed. It's a narrative I've told in many forms through my films, my work. Today, I want to tell you a different story, my SCAD story, one of solace and self-discovery. In the midst of my husband's diagnosis, we wanted to be somewhere we could face our trials and still feel comfort. So we decided to return to where we felt safe, to SCAD. We had met as undergraduates in Savannah, and this time we chose Atlanta. Always before grad school, my husband had directed while I wrote. It was a comfortable collaboration that made me feel safe, and I could fall back on him for leadership and technical knowledge. But that changed. One day, while directing a short film, he fell ill and had to leave the set before the first shot. The entire crew looked to me. It was a new chapter in my hero's journey. Like Dorothy dropped into Oz, a world both colorful and terrifying, I stepped forward to face this new challenge. I had to become my own safety net, my own expert. I drew on my strength and experience at SCAD and made my own decisions about the lighting, adjusted the mise en scène, led the actors. In a word, I directed. That film, Que Sera, inspired by our own personal experience with cancer, became an official selection at the Indie Memphis Film Festival and the Atlanta Film Festival, where it won the Southern Spotlight Award, which came with a $10,000 grant. Thank you. When I started this journey at SCAD, my world had crumbled. But here, I found ways to give shape to my own narrative as a professional. I'd like to thank the entire film and television department, and especially Dean Tina O'Haley, as well as these professors in particular, who took special interest in me and my story. Toby Yoshimura, for daring us to dream big. Michael Kinney, who taught me to be a director, to be tough, and to always keep busy, and to stand by my stories. And Sean Kasinger, who gave me a different perspective. Sean once called me a hero, comparing my life to such a journey, which encouraged me to become something bigger than myself. My entire SCAD career has been filled with extraordinary opportunities. As an undergraduate, I sat in a masterclass with Glenn Close and met Patricia Clarkson. In Atlanta, I worked with Oscar award-winning screenwriter Jeffrey Fletcher, who came to SCAD for a week to give lectures and workshops. He read through my script and gave generous notes and advice. I couldn't have chosen a better university to gain such intimate access to industry greats. Last fall, I began tutoring at SCAD and saw my students look up to me in the same way that I look to my own professors and to my husband. Those familiar with the filmmaking industry know that it's tough, particularly on women. SCAD has prepared me to show other young women that they too can realize their own dreams. After all, that's right. I have written, filmed, and edited my own. I'm happy to share with you that I'm entering my thesis film, Nobody's Darling, into the film festival circuit, and soon I'll begin principal photography on the feature film version of Que Sera. Cinema unites us in the common struggle of humanity, translating expression through light and image in a way that allows for us to love ourselves more. Cinema has allowed me to share a bit of my hero's journey with you. At the end of The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy says, "There's no place like home." That is exactly what I have found at SCAD, home, as I'm sure you all have, each in your own way. Tonight, I would like to thank my mother for giving me the gift of creativity, and all my family members who have supported my dreams. I would also like to thank my mother-in-law, who has stood, and all those who have stood by my side during this most challenging time. I share this night in honor with you. Most of all, I would like to thank my husband, my love, Jonathan, for being my hero. I love you. And thanks to all of you, my fellow graduates who have provided endless support. Tonight, we celebrate our accomplishments. Let's cherish this moment. This has been an unforgettable act in our journey. We are well prepared to meet the next with our creativity and our courage. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Justin Hopkins, and I'm a proud alumnus of the SCAD Furniture Design Program. As an applications engineer for HP, I help companies reimagine their manufacturing processes through the use of technology. So not surprisingly, I'm a bit of a tech nerd, which is why I'm elated to introduce Christopher Klaus as we honor him with the university's highest accolade. A true entrepreneur, he led his first company, Internet Security Systems, when he was a young college student. In the early 2000s, he pursued his love of the video games and founded Caneva, a company that delivers 3D virtual worlds to the masses. And just 3 years ago, he created 2 business incubators that advance information security, machine learning, and neuroscience. Simply put, when it comes to pioneering technology, Christopher Klaus is the man to know. He was even appointed by Governor Sonny Perdue to the Georgia Film, Video, and Music Advisory Commission where he strives to illuminate Georgia as the hub for film and video games. Christopher has been a friend of SCAD for many years, serving as the advisor to the university and a champion of SCAD students at every turn. He once said, quote, "The world is better because there is SCAD." Well, SCAD feels exactly the same way about Christopher Klaus. Christopher, will you please come forward? Here to help award this accolade is Director of Enrollment and Events and Programs, Maurice Smith. Christopher, on behalf of the Savannah College of Art and Design, it is my great pleasure to confer upon you the university's highest honor, the Honorary Doctorate of Human Letters. Thank you.
Thank you, SCAD and President Wallace, for this great honor. I can say with certainty that if I could go back to when I started my first company, I'd do it all over again, and I would hire all of you SCAD graduates. Class of 2017, you're entering industries that champion creative thinking, that crave fresh perspectives, that cry out for innovative solutions. Armed with a SCAD education, you are ready. I built my career on 2 invaluable tools, curiosity and imagination. As a child, I fell in love with video games that took place in either fantasy or futuristic worlds. But playing was not enough. I needed to make my own games, and the challenge required both learning how to code and do art. While I did learn how to code, I wouldn't say I became much of an artist. Years later, though, in high school, I discovered the internet. But again, seeing information online was not enough. I needed to do more. I was fascinated by this new digital world, these realms of interactions. So I immersed myself in the world of information access and security, teaching myself how to automate the process of accessing protected online data. In college, I developed a software that could scan a network looking for vulnerabilities that hackers could use to breach computer systems. It was then that I created my first company, which expanded into providing managed security services. Before long, we were monitoring monitoring companies like banks, government agencies, insurance companies, even the military was using our security software. In 2006, IBM acquired my first company for nearly $2 billion. Proof positive that when curiosity and imagination collide, the possibilities are limitless. My second company, Caneva, allows users to create their own virtual worlds, especially with virtual reality coming. And from the beginning, I knew I needed artists that could help me. and who would be critical to as members of my team. When I began the search for the superlative designers in the Atlanta area, one name resonated above all others, and it was SCAD. After visiting the university in Atlanta, in Savannah, and in Lacoste, and collaborating on several projects, I knew I had to do more. For nearly 8 years, I've been a proud member of the SCAD Board of Visitors, sharing the SCAD story near and far. What a compelling story it is to tell. It's a story of prescience and thoughtfulness. Unlike other time in history, our world is focused on the user experience. It is SCAD who is preparing innovative professionals to redefine the creative landscape. You harness your curiosity and allow your imagination free rein. By doing so, you make your projects distinct. You make them your own, just as I've always strived to do. Looking out to all of you, SCAD graduates, I see an infinite potential. I see the architects of a new creative world, of UX and service designers, illustrators, writers, and animators who will graduate today and move forward into the imaginative and expressive careers, redefining your industries in the process. In every field and forum, there's an opportunity for creativity. Opportunity to create and to change, and that's what SCAD has instilled in you. The drive, the hunger, and the unique skill set to improve the way we interact with the world. Thank you. This evening, I'm also honored to introduce a true creative genius. For nearly 40 years, actor, director, and producer John Malkovich has elevated more than 100 plays, films, and operas with the sincerity and versatility of his work. From his Obie Award-winning performance in True West to his Academy Award-nominated roles in Places in the Heart and Line of Fire, John is one of the all-time greats. We see his star power not only in film, but in fashion. From studying costume design in college to walking the runway for Comme des Garçons, from the textiles he's designed for Liberty of London to the launch of his own clothing labels, John is a sartorial force. His most recent menswear collection, eclectic original line of suits, sweaters, and silk scarves, is uniquely cosmopolitan, bold, and intelligent, just like his performances. It's John's work in fashion that first brought him to SCAD. 4 years ago, he visited the SCAD fashion students in Lumières, France, just down the road from SCAD Lacoste. There, the group discussed international marketplace and the art of clothing design and the necessity of self-expression. John knows a thing or two about being true to one's vision and to oneself. Across his career, pivoting from Broadway to Hollywood and from studio to runway, he is, in every sense, a consummate artist. Let's take a look.
Don't you know that every perfect life would mean the end of art?
Cut! Make it bigger, John, come on!
Sometimes if you're known for one thing, then it's hard for people to suppose. I don't really care how they take me. They can take me as I am or not at all.
Dave! Why am I trying to become what I don't want to be? What am I doing? And when all that I want is out there waiting for me the minute I say, I know who I am.
Will merely confine myself to remarking that a no will be regarded as a declaration of war.
Do you have any idea how long it took me to paint like this? 25 years.
Right this way, Mr. Malkovich. Compliments of the house. It's my livelihood, do you understand?
It's my head, Schwartz. It's my head!
I'm always a figure in someone else's dream. I'd really rather sometimes make my own figures and make my own dreams. was 6. I never made my life about what other people thought of me or what I should do or what I shouldn't do.
Please join me in honoring the 2017 SCAD Commencement Speaker and ITWA Award recipient, the illustrious John Malkovich. John, will you please come forward? On behalf of Savannah College of Art and Design, it is my great pleasure to present to you the ITWA Award, a tribute to the biggest and brightest stars of the fashion and style and design realms that recognize trend-setting and innovative leaders for their monumental contributions. Thanks.
Thank you for that very kind introduction, and as it was this morning, it's amazing to hear the graduates speak and to listen to their stories and hear their poise and their grace. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I have to say, give a couple of quick fashion shout-outs before I start, if I may. First of all, the way some of you have styled these caps, I mean, you're on a boat, okay? And also, I feel I have to say, I have not seen this many people rock froze since the 70s, okay? And let me say, that's not just respect. That's, you threw it on the ground, okay? That's also, you're saying to people, I threw it on the ground, you gotta pick it up and give it to me. Wow. Hello, and thank you for inviting me to address the 2017 graduating class of the Savannah College of Art and Design. And congratulations to the graduates. Today marks a completion, in a way, of one phase of your lives, and as you move into a new phase of your lives, I hope that all the work and the effort and experience that has gone into your receiving your diplomas today will serve you in good stead as you apply yourselves in your chosen fields in the years to come. And we'll just stop there and I'll say, I know what you're thinking, because when we hear that SCAD has a 98% employment rate, you're looking up here and thinking, yeah, but you're in the 2%. I also would like to say congratulations to the professors, instructors, and administrators. I trust that you have a passion and an aptitude for educating young people, and may that ever be the case. I hope you realize your importance to this class graduating today and your importance to past and future classes. Simply put, great educators change lives. Lastly, I would like to congratulate the parents who are here today. I can well imagine the emotions you're feeling, the pride, the joy, the relief. I'm sure many of you made a great sacrifice to make this day possible, and I'm sure you'd do it again in an instant. I'd also like to acknowledge the importance of several people who have helped make this day possible. Paula Wallace, the SCAD founder and president, and the SCAD Board of Trustees. I am not the first person I would think of to deliver a commencement address. I don't give advice as a rule. I'm not a comedian, nor a politician, nor a visionary businessman, nor an inventor. I am acquainted with the Savannah College of Art and Design, as I've had a house in Lacoste, France for many years. where I've occasionally encountered students while walking in the village, where I must say I've never seen a single one of them handcuffed. At least by the police. So, I want to assure you parents who send your children to Lacoste that you can absolutely be certain that if they happen to find themselves in any sort of difficulty over there, they're more than welcome to come down in the valley and knock on my door, and I'll be like, get out of here. This is like private property. I was once asked to participate in a conversation with SCAD students in fashion design in the neighboring megalopolis of Lumière, a conversation I was very happy to have. By the way, you've done an exemplary job of restoring the Maison Basse in the valley, and if the university ever feels it needs another farm in the valley, please don't hesitate to make me an offer 4 or 5 times the market value. Thank you. As some of you may know, I am an actor in both theater and film, director principally in theater, but occasionally in film, and a producer in films and theater. And for the better part of the last 15 years, I've also worked as a fashion designer doing a men's line. This is my 3rd fashion company. The first was called Uncle Kimono, and the second was called Techno Bohemian, and the 3rd one, at the insistence of my new partners, carries my name. And I've been asked to speak to you today about my experiences, and I hope in doing so you'll find something useful in my hopefully blessedly brief remarks. I wonder how many of you are nervous today, unsure of your next step, fearful of what tomorrow will bring, doubtful of your talents, uncertain of your preparedness, dubious about your prospects. When I was your age, I wasn't at all sure of the path I had chosen. I decided to join with some kids I had gone to college with and to move to Chicago and start a theater company. And part of me, perhaps the bigger part of me, was quite certain that this effort was doomed to fail. And I suppose it's time for me to finally admit that once again I was wrong, as over 40 years after its founding in 1976, Steppenwolf Theater continues to flourish. Now, I'm not, by the way, encouraging any of you to go out and start your own theater. Should you feel that urge, don't hesitate to contact me. I can recommend a good psychiatrist and a treatment program. Now, how did our theater survive? What is the secret? Why did we succeed? Luck, persistence, stubbornness, talent, confidence, training, insanity. Here's what I would posit. I believe that our endeavor succeeded because we fell in love with our work, because we had a genuine respect for each other's talent and a genuine interest in watching that talent develop. The relationships we had forged and the education we had received at university laid the foundation for our endurance and eventually for our success. For those of you receiving your degrees today, my wish for you is that you find somewhere the sense of community, the same singularity of purpose, the same sense of working towards a common goal, and the same forum for self-expression. I can't imagine what shape my life would have taken had I not met my colleagues at university. They were and remain the most important influences in my working life. Many years ago, I was working on a film called The Sheltering Sky, which was based on the novel written by a writer called Paul Bowles. At that time, Mr. Bowles was 70 years old, and he had lived in Morocco for the past 30 years by then. One night at dinner, I asked him when it was that he had realized he wasn't going to be returning to live in America. And he looked at me somewhat aghast and responded, I'm still thinking about it. I suppose that's the way I felt about becoming a professional actor until I was in my mid-30s. And probably it was not purely chance that the first film I developed as a producer was called The Accidental Tourist. In some sense, the title seemed a metaphor for my career choice. Maybe one can never be sure if the path one has chosen is the best one, the one most suited to one's temperament and talents and dreams. The point I'm making is simply that it's normal to question yourselves. It's normal to be apprehensive at times. It's normal to question your goals, and yes, even your aptitudes. But you'll survive that self-examination. And even if it's only the first of many self-examinations, and be the stronger for it. I suppose that all generations believe themselves to live in extraordinary times, times which present unique challenges and complexities. The time we are living in now is no different in that respect. Certainly, the world has changed over the last 50 years at an absolutely dizzying pace. And it doesn't seem likely to slow down anytime soon. I hope that you can deal with that pace and that you still have the time to slow down, to tune out if need be, and to turn off when you choose to. Perhaps one of you will design an app to separate real news from fake, though you might want to hurry up on that. As we seem to have some need of it more or less urgently. Of course, perhaps it wouldn't matter anyway, for as Paul Simon wrote in his song called The Boxer long before any of you were born, a man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. And I think we should all hope that that doesn't describe us also. I'll take a brief moment now to address those graduates in these creative disciplines in which I've spent my working life. For theater and film and writing students, here's what I've used to remind me of what I do. But I think it could easily apply to any artistic endeavor. In 1949, the novelist William Faulkner won the Nobel Prize for literature. And at the banquet, he gave a brief address about writing, partially in the hopes of correcting the notion that he was a pessimistic writer. I carried that text around with me for years and eventually memorized it. And I always thought of this speech as the ideal expression of the importance of great writing and also about creativity in general and what our goals should be, even if we never reach them. In part, Faulkner said, "The young man or woman writing today has forgotten the problems of the human heart in conflict with itself, which alone can make good writing because that alone is worth writing about, worth the agony and the sweat. He must learn them again. He must teach himself that the basest of all things is to be afraid, and teaching himself that, forget it forever, leaving no room in his workshop for anything but the old verities and truths of the heart, the old universal truths lacking which any story is ephemeral and doomed. Love, honor, pity, pride, compassion, and sacrifice. Until he does so, he will labor under a curse. He writes not of love, but of lust, of defeats in which nobody loses anything of value, of victories without hope, and worst of all, without pity or compassion. His griefs grieve on no universal bones, leaving no scars. He writes not of the heart, but of the glands. The writing the storytelling is the most important element, as was mentioned earlier. Always. Nothing else is even close. I compare the theater to surfing. At a certain point, you paddle out on your board and you turn your back to the sun maybe and you wait for a wave. But you, the actor, the performer, you're not the wave. The wave is caused by the collision between the material and the public. Your job is to ride the wave. Sometimes you ride it to the shore, sometimes you fall off in good material or great materials such as Faulkner wrote and described so eloquently. There will always be a wave. Trust that. Wait for it. Ride it when it comes. Work hard. Be prepared. Challenge yourselves always. Extend your range. Be a valued collaborator. Take and learn from criticism. Try and make what you do better every time you do it. And yes, learn to deal with failure. I wouldn't necessarily say accept it, but deal with it. And understand it will happen. And though failure may be your enemy, it may feel at times even like your constant companion. But it can also be your teacher. I am curious to see what will become of the world of cinema, where I've spent so much, a big part of my life. When I started doing movies over 30 years ago, the studio system was king, and if you were fortunate enough to become an actor or director of note, it was very likely that you received a, quote, development deal at a studio. You were given an office at Warner Brothers or Columbia or Paramount or United Artists. You hired a secretary of your choice and a development person or two, and the studio paid your expenses and wrote the checks for the options on the books you wanted to adapt, or the magazine articles you hoped to turn into a movie script, or on the original ideas you wanted to explore. They paid to hire a screenwriter and funded the various drafts of the script and eventually funded the film itself if they felt it had some chance for commercial success. That system no longer exists. It has been more or less obliterated in 20 short years. I noticed the other day a headline which stated that the past Memorial Day was the worst Memorial Day weekend in terms of box office in 19 years. So I wonder what the business will be or not be in 5 years or 10. Will there be a new model for distribution, for financing? Will piracy be halted? Will technology make films quicker to shoot, less expensive and cumbersome to produce? When I was your age, if one wanted to see a film, you had to go to a cinema. It was nothing to think of driving 100 miles to see a film. Then came the VHS tape, and then the DVD, then on demand and live streaming, etc. It's not at all clear to me at this point that movie theaters will even exist in 10 years. At the mall where we go to the grocery store, there's a Cineplex. If there is a Star Wars movie of some sort playing, the parking lot is full. If there isn't, it's kind of empty these days. Tastes change, viewing habits change, delivery systems change. 6 or 7 years ago, I was at a premiere in Los Angeles of a film that I had acted in called Red. And the morning after the premiere, I flew to China for a fashion event at the store in Shanghai where the event was being held. A young woman told me that her husband had really liked the film, Red. And as the premiere had only been the night before in Los Angeles, and in fact the actual opening of the film wasn't for a week or 10 days later, I assumed that he must have been at the showing in Hollywood and asked her, oh, does your husband live in Los Angeles, or was he just working out there or visiting? And she looked at me like I was absolutely clueless, and said, oh no, he saw it on the web. So as you can imagine, it would appear there are some kinks to work out in that particular business model. So get to it. Good luck with that. I, for one, am eager to see what your generation invents, reinvents, explores, discovers, and rediscovers. I would be remiss if I didn't speak for a brief moment to the fashion students here today. You are going into a tough field at a tough time, but a beautiful field as well. In 2009, I traveled from where my line was headquartered and produced at that time, which was in Prato, Italy, to New York City, where I was meant to show it to the buyer from Barney's and the buyer from Bergdorf's, and I think maybe opening ceremony, and I don't remember who else. However, my entire collection was confiscated at JFK because I made the mistake of answering the customs declaration form question, are you carrying samples, in the affirmative. So it took me a few days to get it out of customs, and therefore caused me to cancel all my buyer appointments. So basically a catastrophe. So I know I said earlier that I don't give advice, and I generally don't, but I have to say this. When you fill out that little customs form and it asks if you're carrying samples on the flight, just say no, as Nancy Reagan so helpfully suggested all those years ago, okay? Good. Nevertheless, once I got my line out of customs, a few people did wander by to see it, some stores and others who work in the media end of fashion as well. One young man called Matt Tiernauer was one of the visitors. He had directed a beautiful film that I'd seen the year before, a documentary about the fashion designer Valentino. And that film can tell you more than I ever could about the fashion world. So if you haven't seen it, you definitely should. At any rate, he went through my collection very carefully and for a good long while, and then he walked over to me and after complimenting me on the collection said, may I make one observation? And I said, sure, man, of course, yeah. And he said, I see you've actually managed to find a business more toxic than the movie business. And I said, gee, Matt, I'd like to think so. I mean, otherwise, what would be the point? But seriously, toxicity aside, to have the opportunity to live a creative life, to have even the possibility of that opportunity to live a creative life is a precious gift. Yes, the gift may come at a price, because there is often, if not always, a price for doing what you want in this life. But the rewards far outweigh the obstacles. So graduates, I leave you with that one. You'll find your way, I did, and have more or less lived to tell the tale. And I sincerely doubt I was half as clever or talented or prepared as you are today. I wish you my best. Godspeed.
I'm Art Malloy, Dean of Student Success for SCAD Atlanta. We will now present Master of Fine Arts, Master of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, and Bachelor of Arts degrees to the SCAD Atlanta class of 2017. Please come forward as your name is called, and we ask that the audience please hold their applause until all degrees are presented. I'll begin by recognizing SCAD Atlanta's 2017 Outstanding Graduates. Tanner Ergen, summa cum laude, valedictorian. Robin Rebecca Hicks, Excelsius laureate. Lydia Futrell Hancock, summa cum laude, salutatorian. Hannah Christine Kraus, mace bearer. Joshua Francis Hauser, Graduate Outstanding Academic Achievement Award. Scott Lamph Callison, Graduate Outstanding Academic Achievement Award. Maria Cecilia Villegas Nava, Graduate Outstanding Academic Achievement Award. Anderson Davis Carmen, summa cum laude, Graduate Outstanding Academic Achievement Award. Daniela Marquez, summa cum laude, Undergraduate Outstanding Academic Achievement Award. Oriana Navarro San Martin, summa cum laude, Undergraduate Outstanding Academic Achievement Award. Stephen Lloyd Payne, summa cum laude, Undergraduate Outstanding Academic Achievement Award. Mary Elizabeth Rouse, summa cum laude, Undergraduate Outstanding Academic Achievement Award. Allison Nicole Schroy, summa cum laude, Undergraduate Outstanding Academic Achievement Award. Kylie Renee Weismuller, summa cum laude, Undergraduate Outstanding Academic Achievement Award. Now the candidates for Master of Fine Arts. Rowan Altamale, Natalia Bernal Cortez, Jennifer Cruz Gomez, Shelley Diarra Danzi, Lupita Jody, Alexis Dorsey, Travis Doss, Jennifer Fisher, April Camille Faison, Asha Tennille Hall, Jasmine Jewett, Tanisa Nicole Jones, Hwahyun Kim, Joanne Kim, Jennifer Erin Lanier, Sonia Leone Palace, Hanru Lee, Lakita Mancine Logan, Eric Austin Mercado, Mary Glenn Miley, William Charles Moritz, Iniola Odetunde, Ying Ping, Carlos Fernando Perez, Sharon Elizabeth Phillip, Matthew Stephen Phillip, Kahaya Polidor, Eduardo Villalobos, Paris Scott Russell, Hannah Elizabeth Shepard, Sarah Ann Shields, Yu Ueda, Robert Crossley Walkeen, E.J. Wang, Ozia Nicole Wright. Now the candidates for Master of Arts. Nahid Abrazanajad, Kate Monishka Anastasi Eri, Allah Matasim Alborno, Ashton Banks, Joelle Megan Bond, Catherine Cook Brown, Emerald Sky Bird, Joshung Chang, Angelique Chartouni, Kiko Latrice Deshazer, Yuan Ding, Nicole Doctor, Trong Jia Liam, Michael Jamal Evans, Juan Fang, Raquel Kathleen Fortunato, Datri Gatu, Melanie Chanel Gordon, Andrea Del Pilar Guzman Diaz, Yang Yang Hu, Asil Matasim Ismail, Chin Chin Ji, Parul Janeja, Pooja Condelwal. Andrea Shanette Lee. Justin Lesniak. Shui Louis. Shaldi Lee. Estelda Lakia Logan. Tiara Dolores Luton. Daniela Anna Michelle. Neda Saleh Mohammed. Erica Shade Mokho. Maria Alejandra Murillo Zerpa. Braden Murphy Orr. Patrice Nicole Parker. Gabriela Sofia Perez Castro. Jin Chow. Maria Vanessa Reyes Gonzalez. Palmer David Rubin. Ravneet Sachdeva. Munira Dara Celeste Samuel. Ashley Marie Scheidler. Anastasi Christopher Sharp. Rakeem Sherrard Smith. Victor Lynn Tatum Jr. Brittany Kiera Timms. Yaxine Tian. Aitong Wong. Jing Wong. Nan Wee. Bianca Denise Williams. Jocelyn Lauren Williams. Jiazu Wu. Yingtong Zhang. Now the candidates for Bachelor of Fine Arts. Dayanara Cristina Aguia Loaiza. Furkan Agmal. Ahmad Alami. Perla Coral Albaran. Stephen John Amakuchi, magna cum laude. Sydney Giamani Addy. Imani Anderson. Angela Kagan Andrew. Karina Linnea Austin. Prasenjit Bakchi. Gentry Baird. Charlie Storm Son. Nathan Elliott Bernard. Ryan Taylor Baskin. Avery Nicole Beeson, summa cum laude. Martine Beauvais. Vanara Mercedes Bang, cum laude. Brittany Imani Bernier. Jordan Isaiah Best. Caitlin Alexandra Betts, summa cum laude. Esther Blue, summa cum laude. Renee Juan Barrero. Morgan Brooke Bradley, magna cum laude. Stacy Stewart Brooks, magna cum laude. Armando Irving Brown. Jaslyn Lois Brown. Morgan Dakota Brown. Tatiana Shamir Brown. Trishawn Tremaine Brown. John Joseph Bryant. Leslie Ann Burris. Christine Ann Burney, cum laude. Sally Lauren Burns. Sarone Antoine Bussy, magna cum laude. Rosario Andreas Canales, magna cum laude. Roberto Cesar Castillo. Joya Gabrielle Chapman. Darren Wesley Chavis II. Whitney Childers, summa cum laude. Kimani Chisholm. Yuli Cho, magna cum laude. Tinsley Cohen. Rebecca Eileen Call, magna cum laude. Akira Marie Collins Weems. Miranda Ruth Conway. Caitlin Michelle Cook. Hannah Elizabeth Covington Walker. Benjamin Adam Cruz. Joshua David Dale. Kevin Alexander Daniel. Brittany Morgan Brittany Daniels. Akash Das, cum laude. Amanda Louise Davis. Montez Bernard Davis, Anna Danielle Dean, Casey Monet Dixon, Champagne Jaquitha Dixon, Chelsea Mariette Bianco Erica Duran, cum laude. Savannah Jane Eason, magna cum laude. DeAndrea Janae Evans, Emily Patrice Evans, cum laude. Sarah Marie Evans, cum laude. Jordan Zuri Ewick, Danielle Fandino, Tierra Robbie Farmer, Ma'adig Fasaye, Madrell Ernest Fitzgerald, Mark Avery Flowers, Tresvon Sivdaz Forbes, Stuart Michael Ford, Jade Elizabeth Forrest, Gerard Taylor Fouts, cum laude. Kathleen Rebecca Founds, summa cum laude. Kira Sophie Fries, cum laude. Sydney Frost, Foon Fu, cum laude. Winston Hamilton Fulbright, Tina Gonchev, Fina Itzel Garcia Blanco, cum laude. Stephanie Virginia Gibbons, Natalia Jeanette Gladman, Grace Solicito Gleason, Alejandro Oswaldo Girora Valencia, Elizabeth Amber Rain Golden Bell, Erica Kathleen Gonzalez, Niletza Gonzalez, Justin Leonard Gorski, cum laude. Kimberly Googe, Haley Ann Graham, magna cum laude. Cherie Simone Graham, Wesley Thomas Graham, magna cum laude. Ashton Lane Grant, magna cum laude. David Graves, magna cum laude. Seth Richard Greenwood, summa cum laude. Annabelle Brigitte Guerrero, Flavia Gutierrez Velez, cum laude. Shante Alejandra Haber, magna cum laude. Suzanne Marie Hammond, cum laude. Bobna Asia Hawk, magna cum laude. Charity Isabella Hardman, Alexis Noel Harris, Haley Shanice Harris, Sarah Emily Hartley, Nathaniel Hearns, cum laude. Madison Henry, Lalrine Pui Mar, magna cum laude. Ryan Allen Hogan, Leah Barbosa Honeycutt, cum laude. Amberly High Hood, magna cum laude. Rachel Joyce Horst, cum laude. Sarah Catherine Howell, Shiwan Su, magna cum laude. Shishan Huang, Andrew Michael Hudson, Adeline Hoy, James Eric Huma, Alyssa Leanne Hunt, summa cum laude. Arisha Hussein, Grace Win, Patricia Win, Teho Huang, Gia Marie Eiffel, Tanisha Natasha James, Neil Jensen, cum laude. Amelia Elizabeth Job, summa cum laude. Amira Dejanay Johnson, Woo Hyun Ju, Deidre Michaela Joseph, Vrunda Vijay Kansara, Portia Dean Cates, cum laude. Magdalene Ward Kellner, Roland Evan King, Elizabeth Lee Kennedy, magna cum laude. Now young Rachel Kim, magna cum laude. Sul Ki Kim, Madison Lee Konecki, summa cum laude. Kendra Jean Kummerer, Abby Victoria Capote, magna cum laude. Esther Kimberly Kwan, Yelrin Kwan, magna cum laude. Jinso Lee, Sharon Unhei Lee, magna cum laude. Heather Lindsay Leach. Lauren Ashley Legner. Brittany Megan Leverett, magna cum laude. Yinong Lau, cum laude. Mi Young Lim, magna cum laude. Wai Hong Lim, magna cum laude. Jordan Michelle Lloyd. Kiara Mar Lopez, cum laude. Kevin Liu, cum laude. Jasmine Lorraine Mack, cum laude. Lindsay Lee Matthews. Malia Dre Mayfield, cum laude. Kiana Kelsey McCalla, magna cum laude. Tyler Marie McClelland. Deandra Lakeisha McCord. Fien Falua Kayla McCrary. Lamara Vinche McGriggs, cum laude. Spencer William Mickler, cum laude. Amanda Marie Miller, magna cum laude. Caitlin Marie Miller, magna cum laude. Alana Victoria Minor. Beatrice Melina, cum laude. Kimberly Elizabeth Moore. Lamar Alexander Moore. Molly Aaron Morris, magna cum laude. Jonathan David Mossman. Mario Munoz. Morgan Marquita Miles, cum laude. Megan Alexa Nader, cum laude. Ajay Kiara Nelson. Austin Jonathan Nelson. David Esteban Osorio, magna cum laude. Pia Pawa. Natalie Renee Palmer. Casey Scott Pardue. Shanima Parker. Jerome Francis Heitzman, summa cum laude. David James Pinder. Alexandra Perdomo. Modesto Martin Pereira. Grace Allison Perkins, cum laude. Shanicia Person. Jacob Austin Phillips. Kevin Pinga, summa cum laude. Tejaswini Pataredi. Kathleen Alice Powell. Jisoo Pio. Skylar Ashton Radford. Ricky Jamise Rayford. Rayonda Samantha Ramutar, cum laude. Demonth Dandon Rao. Elizabeth Nunnally Rawson. Brittany Tiana Reese. Carmen Janelas Reyes, cum laude. Matthew Hunter Richardson, cum laude. Nicholas Alexander Riddle. Joshua Kyle Roberts. Akila Shakira Robertson. Kara K. Robson, cum laude. Sierra Christine Roland Ferguson, magna cum laude. Sia Bulela Hoshinaba. Sheila Elida Ruiz, cum laude. Matthew John Rusak, cum laude. Samantha Ray Sager. Brian Caleb Salter, cum laude. Nicholas Sanchez Mejorada Giro. Diana Yvette Sanchez. Benjamin Isaac Sandfelder, cum laude. Connor Riley Sanford Hannon. Chandler Saunders, cum laude. Hannah Marie Schroy, summa cum laude. Suzanne Finley Sellers. Liang Shang. Sarita Crystal Shaw. Ganglu Shu. Samantha Lee Skipper. Charlena Rose Renee Smith. Tiana Rashay Smith, magna cum laude. Barry Sorrell. Brittany Nichelle Starr. Yulung Sun. Stephanie Aram Tomaklo, cum laude. Nicole Choi G. Taylor, magna cum laude. Madison Lynn Thorne, summa cum laude. Benjamin Kevin Tong, cum laude. Darissa Rain Eloise Towns. Tri Han Tran, summa cum laude. Harmony Trevina, summa cum laude. Meghna Ajay Vachani. Tashaza Maisha Vaughn. Catherine Lilani Veach, cum laude. Oscar Antonio Velasquez, magna cum laude. Ivana Patricia Vera, magna cum laude. Jenny Ann Waits. Jamie Jamal Washington. Jessica Irene Weber. Amber Michelle Westmoreland. Brandon Ellis Williams. Kayla Danielle Williams. Kayla Rochelle Williams. Pamela Nate Williams, summa cum laude. Leah Arabella Wilson, magna cum laude. Shanatia Lachey Wine. Lock Hen Terrence Wong, magna cum laude. Akila Emerita Wright. Shi-E Shu. Xing-E Shu. Alanya Yavlinsky. Rong Yi. Sun Young Yung, magna cum laude. Unbi Yung. Now our candidates for Bachelor of Arts. Catherine Cecilia Adams, cum laude. Anissa Great Ait Buja. Jessica Michelle Anderson. Jackson Patrick Ard. Rosalind Johanna Arnold, cum laude. Simeon Kenyon Bingham. Hadia Ashay Butterfield Fairman. Justin Willie DeCossey. Jordan Alexander DePiro, magna cum laude. Dolan Bryant Duckett. Clemente Horatio Duran Bayen. Hillary Ann Hardison. Joseph William Jackson Jr. Rochelle Crystal Johnson. Sebastiana Belinda Laramont. Teresa Lynn McClure. Neil Hahn Michaels, cum laude. Matthew Philip Mills Jones. Maria Valentina Morera, cum laude. Uchina Krista Ofoha. Fiorella Daniela Ordonez Moore, magna cum laude. Ashish Rasangani. Mateo Restrepo, magna cum laude. Kiori Dominique Rivera. Jemiah Teague, cum laude. Carolina Patlia Ribeiro, magna cum laude. Rona Michelle Wisdom. Kinolisa and Kim Oramasianwu. Let's applaud the members of the SCAD Atlanta class of 2017.
Many thanks to John Malkovich, Christopher Klaus, and all of our speakers for making this commencement such a special occasion. And now for the conferment of degrees. Would all Master of Fine Arts candidates please stand? As president of SCAD, before the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the degree of Master of Fine Arts. You may be seated. Would all Master of Arts candidates please stand? As president of SCAD, before the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts. You may be seated. Are there any Bachelor of Fine Arts candidates? Yes. All right. As president of SCAD, before the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts. You may be seated. Would all Bachelor of Arts candidates please stand? Woo! All right. As president of SCAD, before the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts. All right, would all graduates please stand? You may now turn your tassels. Congratulations. Congratulations, SCAD class of 2017. Woo! Would you please remain in place during the recession of the trustees, administrators, faculty, and graduates? But before you go, graduates, we have one final message from all your friends at SCAD.
Thank you, SCAD, for giving me the best years of my life.
Because of SCAD, I have the opportunity to be an amazing graphic designer.
Because of SCAD,
we won an Emmy.
因为我们教授的支持，我们的设计上了学校的时装秀。谢谢。
Because of SCAD, I can reach for the stars.
به خاطر SCAD من میتونم رویام به عنوان کارآفرین دنبال کنم.
After SCAD, I plan to move to San Francisco to work for Pixar Animation Studio.
都要在媽咪、爹哋嘅支持，我準備去 coach 工作。
Because of SCAD, I'm headed to Los Angeles to work for Bug.
New York City to work for the Mill.
Seattle to work for Google.
Junior designer at Porsche Cars North America.
Because of SCAD, we're going to Sony.
IBM.
Intuit.
VR Royale.
Ubisoft.
Loyal Casper.
Blue Sky Studio.
Blur Studio.
I can't.
3D animator, character animator.
Royal Casper.
Because of SCAD, I found my dream job.
Just graduated. Congratulations.
Thumbs up.
Go out there. Be amazing. No se les olvide que a pesar de todos los obstáculos que se van a encontrar, ustedes tienen que seguir adelante con sus sueños.
Just know your voice and stick with it. Make bold choices. It's better to just go for it.
And believe. You absolutely have to believe more than anyone else.
Congratulations, class of 2017. You made it. Go out into the world and make the world a better place.
I look forward to working with some of you, and more importantly, I look forward to working for some of you. So please, call me.
Me too.
Go out there and make us proud.
Thank you, SCAD.
どうもありがとう。
祝所有2017毕业生前程似锦。
Congratulations, SCAD class of 2017. Especially you, Nick Schaefer.
Remember that you will always be a part of the SCAD family.
SCAD es tu familia.
Want to be?
And we'll rise up. I let the waves will rise up. Spite of the ache, we'll rise up. And we'll do it 1,000 times again. Ooh. SCAD 2017 graduates, congratulations. We love you all. Rise up, rise up, rise up for yourselves. We love you all. God bless.